Hi, I'm Gail Berry. I'm an international expert on baby massage and baby yoga. I'm the founder of Blossom and Berry, and for the last 23 years, I have been in devotion to helping all human beings reach their full potential in the first 1001 days of life through love and nurturing care. And I wanted to create this special transmission for you about the importance of devotion for babies because I feel like devotion is not really associated with parenting or the parent and baby relationship. And yet, for me, devotion is absolutely central. For me, devotion is about pure unconditional love and compassion. It's about presence. It's about seeing the sacredness in everything. And by bringing the aspect of devotion or devotional practice to your parenting practice, to your relationship with your baby, it brings so much more joy, so much more celebration, and so much more depth to parenting. It makes the mundane suddenly seem magical. And so this transmission is all about how to do this and to invite you to create a devotional practice with your baby. Now, over the last few years, I have become increasingly interested in the importance of ritual and ceremony in our lives because ritual and ceremony is about slowing down and noticing the sacredness in everything. It's about making your life a living prayer and becoming aware of all of the incredible gifts that we are receiving in every moment and creating rituals and practices and ceremonies around that to just mark the magnificence of life, to notice the magic. And what this does is it helps to bring us back into our magical child energy, into seeing that we are on this planet for such a short period of time, that we have this invitation to enjoy it, to create pleasure, to use all of our senses, to be in our full creative potential through music, dance, art, poetry, writing, to be in our bodies through sport, activities, yoga, whatever it is that makes you feel happy and alive. Ritual devotion ceremony brings this aspect of aliveness in back to us. It's a remembrance of how we used to be. And in a world which is very much focused on being busy, goals, success, getting somewhere, ritual practices and devotion and ceremony helps to bring us back to the now because it's now where everything's happening. And particularly when you become a parent, everything is in the now because you've never been the parent of your baby until this very moment. And your baby has never known you until this very moment. And we cannot predict what is going to happen in the future. Life is a great mystery. And so when we let go of the linear path and we allow ourselves to enjoy everything that's arising in the moment, allowing everything to be welcome, all feelings without judgment, whether it's rage, grief, or sorrow, or celebration, happiness, or bliss, everything's welcome. This is when we start to create a life of wholeness and unity, and we stop feeling like we need to look outside of ourselves or search for something outside of ourselves. We realize that the magic is right here now. Now, I feel like I can really talk from this place because I have three children, almost all in their 20s. So at this moment of filming, they're 19, 21, and 23. And this is the biggest cliche in the world, but enjoy every single moment because it passes way too quickly. I can tell you it does. And I am so, so grateful that I spent those early years with my children. I gave up my career as a corporate finance lawyer in the city to be present with my children, to know them, to love them, for them to know me. And it's the greatest thing that I've ever done. I have the most amazing relationship with them, and they've brought me so much joy as my teachers. So I know this, it's a lived embodied experience as a parent of three very small children. I had three children in 3.5 years. I was breastfeeding and pregnant for 5 years in a row. So I've lived it, I know it, I practiced it. And now, as I'm going out of my mother archetype into menopause and taking on much more of the wise woman wisdom, this is what I want to share with you guys, is that the magic is in the moment. The magic is in now. You're never going to have your baby at this age. You're never going to have this day with your baby. So let's be devotional. Let's create ritual. Let's create practices. Let's create ceremony. Let's stop and slow down and notice. Let's look up and see the magic that is happening and not take for granted the beautiful, expansive spiritual practice that is parenting. So, what does devotion really mean? Well, it means being present with your baby because you want to, not because you have to, not because you should do, but because you want to give your time, you want to give your energy to your baby. You want to honor that your baby is this beautiful soul who's come to this planet as your teacher, as your companion, as your co-creator for the rest of your life, is to really understand that your baby is a sovereign being that has needs and desires that need to be respected, that has boundaries, that we need to ask consent of babies. We need to be checking in with our babies. We need to be noticing, listening, communicating with our babies all of the time. It's stepping away from this idea that babies can be controlled, this power struggle that happens between parents and babies. We want babies to sleep at this time. We want babies to eat at this time. We want babies to, do what we want on the clock. That's not how babies work. That's not how human beings work. That's how we've been programmed to believe the relationship between a parent and a baby should be, that babies should fit into our schedule and be like clockwork. When we look around at society, I don't necessarily think that's a really great idea right now to be bringing babies into a society which is fundamentally quite unhealthy at the moment. We've got this opportunity as parents to actually break the rules and to allow babies to be fully expressed and expanded and literally just hold the space for our babies to grow into, to witness them, to observe them, to care for them, to support them, yes, to guide them. And as they get older, they need to understand loving boundaries. But the beginning of life is very much about being in devotion and honoring your baby. Because remember that your baby understands the world through you. There is no separation between you and your baby. Your baby doesn't know until they're about 18 months that they are separate from you. So how you're feeling, the emotions you're showing, your energy, how you are with your baby is how your baby is experiencing the world. And that is why at Blossom and Berry for the last 20 years, we've been using the mantra, love creates love. Because when you love and honor yourself as a parent, you have a greater capacity to love and honor your baby. And your baby knows that they are loved and they're honored, and they go out in the world and do the same, practice the same. And this is how we love the world forward, through love creates love. And it all starts with parenting. That's why you are, an amazing humanitarian leader, as well as being a badass parent. It's really important to claim this, because it's been parenting has been disempowered in modern society, and the value of parenting is not seen, but it is in fact the most powerful force that exists in the world. And many, many years ago, when we lived in close-knit communities, parenting would have been shared by several other members of the community, because it was such an important job, and because the community realized that the future of that community, its abundance, its health, its wealth would come from the future generation. So all of their attention and energy was put on helping to nurture those babies into the best that they could possibly be. And we've moved very, very far away from that. And we moved into this place where, instead of being devotional towards babies, in some cases, we're trying to control babies, we're trying to persuade babies, we're trying to restrict babies in their expression to make them fit this idea of modern society. So there's a question there as to whether you want to do that, whether you want to follow the linear path or whether you want to open up to the magic. And that's where ritual and ceremony really, really comes in. So baby massage and baby yoga is a type of ritual because both of these practices bring us into the present moment. We talk about creating a love bubble for babies. So this is a sacred space where it's just you and your baby. It's going to be quite rare maybe in your day to find that time. It's just you and your baby, no phone, no interruptions, no looking at anything else, just pure presence. And this is devotion. It's the coming into the heart, coming into the body, closing the mind, and giving your full attention to your baby, honoring your baby, communicating with your baby, listening to your baby. So, in this beautiful love bubble that we create for baby massage and baby yoga, this is where devotion starts. This is where your baby is going to feel fully seen, fully heard, fully accepted. This is where your baby's going to learn about you. They're going to learn about emotional intelligence, social relationships. This is the most powerful thing that you can do with your baby, is to create the love bubble. Now, we obviously teach this with baby massage and baby yoga, which are somatic techniques. So somatic means the ability to use the body to know more of your environment and of who you are, to help to regulate your nervous system. And that's what massage, nurturing touch, and yoga movement does. It helps babies to understand more of themselves in their environment, to understand that they have arms, they have legs, that they can move their arms like this, their arms move down like this, that when they smile, someone smiles back. All of this helps babies to have a greater sense of themselves, to feel grounded and present, and to relax their nervous systems that actually allows them to develop and grow because they feel safe and secure. So, devotion in the love bubble with somatic practices, baby massage and baby yoga, are powerful. They are much more powerful than playing with plastic toys, putting them in front of your baby's face, all of these different things, because babies feel through their bodies. Baby understands the world through their primary senses. And in the first 18 months of life, soft learning is what babies need. Close physical contact, physical body contact, eye contact, stories, songs, the movement of your body, your breath. All of these things help babies to have a regulated nervous system that then allows them to expand into the higher realms of the brain with more intellectual learning, because fundamentally babies feel safe. So this is why we have devotional practice, is to help babies feel safe, feel secure, create connection, create bonds. It also gives you the opportunity to learn about your baby in a way that feels good in your body, that allows you to relax and to experience a regulated nervous system as well. When you massage your baby's body produces oxytocin and your body produces oxytocin. This is the love hormone that helps us chemically fall in love with each other, baby with you and you with baby, and it regulates our nervous system. It's a relaxation hormone, so it helps to bring levels of adrenaline and cortisol down. It is so powerful, it's cross-cultural, it's intergenerational, and it's part of our human instinct to co-regulate through touch and connection. I'm not teaching you anything new. This is just a deep remembrance of how we used to be. We've just come very far away from this because of the way that our society is structured. And because we've had to leave our babies to go out to work, we've forgotten that actually what babies need in these first crucial years, the first 18 months, the first 1001 days, is close physical contact with you and these beautiful soft learning practices. So baby massage and baby yoga is super powerful. You can find out more about practicing baby massage and baby yoga on the Blossom and Berry website. We also have nature. Wow. So, for me, devotional practice with nature is an absolute essential every day. Walking in nature for 20 minutes, noticing the abundance, what I'm receiving, the trees that are creating the oxygen for me to breathe, the earth that is creating the food that I'm eating, the sun that's warming my skin, the rain that's nourishing the land, all of these things. This is devotional practice, going out into nature. So our Tree Babies classes are designed to help you to earth bond your babies, to take your babies out into nature so that they know they are nature, that there is no separation, and that the first environment that babies experience is nature outside, the seasons, the cycles, so that they realize that life is not linear, that it's actually magical, and that so much is happening all of the time to love and support us and to provide us with this abundance. So nature is also an incredible devotional practice to have for yourself as an adult, and then to bring your baby into for you to share together, with baby wearing and forest bathing and making nature mandalas and all the other things that we do in Tree Babies classes. So we've got information again on the website to help you to earth bond your baby and to really create that relationship with nature. It helps to slow us down. It brings us again into our body. It regulates our nervous system. This is what science tells us. We are nature, so it's like coming home to ourselves. So this is another way that you can create a devotional practice with your baby. And again, for most people, accessing the outside, accessing nature, whether it's a park, whether it's a forest, whether it's the beach, or whether it's flowers just on your balcony, if you live in a flat, it's still nature. We can still watch the clouds go by. We can still feel the wind in our face. We can still feel a sense of belonging to nature. And then the other three things that really, for me, create a strong devotional practice, which is accessible again to everybody, is breath, movement, and sound. So breath, movement, and sound are a way for us to regulate our nervous systems and to use our natural instincts to bring happiness and joy and bliss to every moment. So when you're thinking about creating a devotional practice with your baby, how can you introduce breath, movement, and sound? I can share a few practices for you, but the most powerful practices will come from you, your own traditions and rituals that you want to create with your baby. With the breath, just holding your baby and breathing deeply into your body helps to regulate your baby's nervous system. All types of breath work help babies to know that they are safe, because we are doing deep belly breathing. We are relaxing our whole nervous system through the breath. So any type of breath work with your baby is going to help you feel closer, more connected in the moment, less in the head, more in the heart. Sound. Sound is beautiful. It is so powerful. Your voice has a very specific frequency and energy that is unlike anything else on this planet. Your baby's been listening to your voice whilst they've been in your womb. And so now your voice is the bridge between the womb and the world. So there is so much here, whether it's stories or songs or poems or just chatting with your baby. All of these things help to create connection and regulate our nervous system. You can also introduce things like devotional mantras. You can sing them, or you can have them on in the background. You can introduce sounding with different parts of the body. There's different energy centers, the chakras along our spine, this energetic system that exists alongside our physical anatomy that we can see. Each one of those energetic centers has a different sound that we can use to clear our energy and to welcome more of that energy in. So for example, the one for the heart is ah. So patting on your chest and going, ah, super simple, but it helps to regulate your nervous system and open your heart. And your baby will respond to this type of toning, this type of practice, because again, they are receiving information about the world, about you, through their body, through their energetic field, rather than their minds, because their minds aren't activated before the age of 18 months. Their consciousness, their ability to distinguish between you and them is not yet developed. So babies are very much living in the moment, receiving from you, and really the way that your energy and your frequency and your vibration is being really picked up by your baby. And we know this, we can see it when you hold a baby, and if you're feeling stressed, they can often become stressed and agitated. If you give the baby to somebody else who's feeling calm and centered and grounded, often that baby immediately comes into that same frequency, that same resonance, because they're attuning to that person's energy. So sound is very powerful. And then we have movement. So there's all types of movement. There's yoga, as I mentioned before. There's baby wearing. There's going outside and walking with your baby. There's dancing with your baby. All these different types of movement practices that you can do with your baby, not separate, will help to synchronize your nervous systems and to help you feel more calm and grounded. Because when we come into our head, we're either thinking about what's happened before or what might be happening in the future. We're missing the magic of the now. So all of these practices, all of these devotional practice, these rituals, they allow us to come into the now, into this moment. And that's when we feel such reverence for the opportunity to be alive. That's when our hearts fully open to receive. That's when we really burst open with gratitude, because we don't know how long we have. We may just have this one day on earth. So let's make the most of that moment. Whatever is here, but let's embrace it, learn from it, expand through it. This is the journey of parenting. It is a spiritual experience. It's a spiritual practice. It is one that requires you to practice unconditional love, compassion, trust, forgiveness, acceptance. All of the things that are the basis of all religions are presented to us in parenting. So if you can approach parenting as a spiritual practice, if you can create devotional practices with your baby, if you can make the small moments into ritual, and if you can bring in ceremony by honoring the seasons of your baby's life, of the milestones, and of your personal milestones as a parent, and also noticing how nature is evolving around us seasonally as well, we can find so much more flow, because this is a deep remembrance of how we used to live. So I hope that you found this transmission useful around devotion. And my invitation to you is, how can you bring more devotion into your life? How can you be more devoted to yourself? How can you care more about yourself? How can you tune in and listen to what you need? How can you honor yourself? How can you spend time with yourself, go inward rather than out? How can you offer this to your baby? How can you create a love bubble, a sacred space, the slow learning, the physical presence? How can you bring in those elements of sound, breath, and movement? How can you create a devotional practice in your day, every day? Whether it's going outside in nature, lighting a candle, having a particular story that you read, a song that you sing, all of these things, they create beautiful traditions that will be passed on to all of your future ancestors. You have the power to do this now. You have the power to create the exact parenting journey that you want, and let it be one full of love, full of devotion, full of care, full of acceptance, because this will be the greatest gift that you can give to yourself, your baby, your family, and your future ancestors. So I'm sending you so much love. And of course, I have been in devotion to this work for the last 23 years. It has been every day. It is a great honor and privilege to be able to support and help parents and babies all across the world and through the global family at Blossom and Berry of over 2,000 teachers. So, sending you so much love from my heart to yours. And if this has been useful, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know, or maybe pass it on and share it to somebody else as well.